All right, now I made a video a while back where I was installing a roof rack using Rivnuts, and I did not use a Rivnut installation tool like this. I just used one of these guys, and you can look it up on YouTube. These are easy to make. It's basically a bolt with a kind of like a big old slide washer in the middle of it, you know, like a bolt that kind of spins, or a nut that kind of spins, and a couple of washers. You put your Rivnut on the end, and you hit this guy with an impact, and you're done. Straight up. Rivnut DIY installation tool. Sometimes they get kind of jacked. Like this one I was using for like a day's worth of work, and the top washer, you can see, just kind of got blown out. So anyway, Rivnut installation tool. If you don't do Rivnuts all the time, you could use one of these. Even if you do, you can use one of these. But anyway, if you want to get all fancy, get yourself a Rivnut installation tool. This guy has different size attachments. So inside each one of these boxes is the attachment which will fit your different Rivnuts. And they just give you like a little sampling of Rivnuts. You know, personally, I always use the same size Rivnuts. You know, like I could buy a bunch of the same bolts. I use the same Rivnuts. I don't use like big ones for some things and small ones, but whatever, you can do that with this tool. Basically, the way this works is you get it dialed in, and you get your attachment on the end. You screw your Rivnut to the tip, and you stick it in your hole in your sheet metal. You know, the Rivnut has to go in and have like space beyond. You can't put it into like plate. You know, you're gonna put this into like inch thick plate. You got to put it into thin sheet metal. You know, like between 10 and 20 gauge sheet metal, and then you just crank it. So you stick it in this way. You stick it in, and then you crank it back, and the pulling of the Rivnut is what compresses it, and the front kind of compresses around your sheet metal, and it's a solid connection that you can screw a bolt into. So Rivnuts are cool. This installation tool is great. It's not totally necessary because you can make one of these, but it's a good tool.